Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ and Chris Nealon. Yes, I have the second delay on for Ken Moon. Just in case you were figured I'd just bring that up real quick. But, welcome everyone. We're glad to have our friend on, Ken Moon. He has been with me numerous times. I don't know how many times, but numerous times throughout my Let's Talk Shop with Russ career. So first off, let's get things out of the way. My sponsors, Devobal Technologies for web design, development, hosting. Visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative product for professional workers. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company. Your best choice for hardwood to find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Clean Spore, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com. Wow, I read this so slow lately, I can't even read it fast anymore. Seiko, the scroll saw specialist, seiko.com. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up at the end of this or while you're doing this. And even better than that, hey, let me pull James Parker's big old thumbs up. I got to put a backing behind this. I didn't figure it out. It goes on a base that he made for me. So it's supposed to sit like this, like this. So I'm going to trace it out and put a base behind it so it'll have a background. Yeah, so I'll have a background. But anyway, and the next thing is don't forget to hit the bell. Ding, ding, then you'll know anytime I post a new woodworking video or we go live. And don't forget to subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that very much. So, yes,
well over a minute, not even worth recording.
Yeah, see, Chris is taking time. Our official timekeeper, Chris.
Well over a minute.
So anyway, so yes, so we have Kim Moon on tonight. We got a lot to cover. Before I get started, I just have to point something out.
Whoa.
That my good friend James Parker also sent me the Star Trek chronology. Nice. Magazine. Yes, which is actually, Al doesn't have one of these, which is full of, here, let me get it up here, full of all what has been going on with Star Trek from very, 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 very beginning. So eat your heart out, Al.
Oh, man.
Holy cow, Ken, did he charge you to be on? Hey, Ken, did he charge you to be on the show?
No, I'm a little bit jealous about that too.
Oh, you're supposed to keep that a secret.
By the way, Russ.
All right. So anyway, so once we've got that covered, let's move on down to Brenda.
Yes, sir.
Where we can find you.
Well, you pretty much find me in about any doctor's office, any hospital, any emergency room, on the couch, in the bed. Now, this morning I did escape. My keeper was not watching me, and I managed to get out in the front yard and sit out there for about 3 hours today and soaked up some vitamin D. I am planning to try to do a few videos. Now, I'm not sure, how well I'm going to do strength-wise, and my feet swelling up and I keep filling up with fluids and all that kind of thing. But, I'm going to try to do a few videos, try to keep some people laughing and entertained and maybe inspired. I don't know. We'll see what y'all think of some of the stuff I do, some of the ideas that I have. But I got a channel called Brenda G's Designs. There's a lot of old videos on there with all kinds of craft stuff on there that I've done. And if you enjoy some, well, I think it's funny and entertaining. There's other people who might argue with me, but if you like to, hear some of my stories and stuff, you can go over there on my channel and listen to some of the things that I've got up there.
Oh, it'll crack you up. It'll crack you up. I've listened to numerous of them over the years. Ken Moon, did you just give me $20?
Yes, he did.
I think
That's what we've been talking about, that he had to pay to be on the show.
What the heck did you do that for?
That's a challenge for everyone else.
There you go.
Okay. Well,
This is the wrong crowd for that, Ken.
yeah, they don't give me crap. I mean, I get on a few occasional from people like James Parker that sends me things, but people don't love me as much as they love you, Ken.
Well, it's important that people understand. I mean, it takes a lot to do what you do, all the stuff that you do. So I appreciate it. You know, I don't always comment and I don't do a lot of stuff, but I appreciate your shows, and I'm always lurking in the background somewhere. So,
wow, I'm thank you. I'm blushing. I mean, it's like, wow, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. This is season 8 years. Some people don't understand when that S08 comes up, that means that we've been doing this show for 8 years. And I don't know of any other show, woodworking type situation like we're doing here that's been on any longer. But thank you very much. I'm just, wow, okay. I'm kind of overwhelmed. So, Paul, get me out of this.
Hey, Paul Corliss and Paul's Messy Workshop. I kind of like Jim's comment out there. He said, challenge. I thought it was so we could get paid this week. I think you're right, Jim, because paydays are few and far between on this show. But you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me here on Saturday nights. And you never know where else. So,
hey, I give y'all guys raises all the time. I take one more step up the ladder.
Huh?
You mean you guys pretty good about paid?
Uh,
Al.
I'm Al Forte. You can just find me by looking for Kilroy 79763. Can't see my hand, but Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop on YouTube. Haven't put out a video in months. I don't think. But anyway, great to be here.
It suspiciously looks like you're in my old shop.
so he is.
My big microphone right
Looks like
there.
you're in my old shop. Yes, it does.
You just now realize that?
No, I saw it a long time ago. I just brought it to your attention.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong place. Wait. I need to go back to Enterprise.
Al said he was going to be cleaning the shop. I didn't know he was going to make it look like yours.
Yeah, really. Chris.
Again, Chris here at the Old Cranky Workshop. Find me here on Saturdays on YouTube. There's a video in the works right now. And on Facebook. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. You'll find my stuff being sold in a store called Funky Junkies in Punta Gorda. So if you're in town, stop by and buy some of my stuff.
Funky Junkie?
Funky
Junkie.
Junkies.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been a rough 2
like
weeks. I've had a good sale in 2 weeks now. I want some money.
It lacks tact, but it's okay. Funky Junkies.
It is. So, but I'm starting Christmas orders now, so I don't want to be caught working.
In Florida?
Yeah.
What?
No,
Dixon.
Hi, I'm Dixon. You can find me at Hoffman Signs and Decals, 3dprinting.com, and here on Saturday night.
All right, Donald.
You can find me here on Saturday nights, usually. And I got a YouTube channel, Donald Vlogifies Wood Shop. My Instagram, Facebook, and all that's there. And I got a website, redneckknowhow.com. And here for the next month or two, you're liable to catch me peeing somewhere because, doctor says so.
Some call me Jim, other calls me Jim.
Jim.
Jim Bashir's Driveway Workshop, and looking forward to talking to Ken again. I haven't talked to him for a long time. And if you're going to the AAW this year, I will be there too. So we can hook up.
I'm not going.
I almost thought you said AA.
see each other, not like hook
Yeah,
up.
really. I was like, AA.
I was wondering if
No,
wine
not
was
in,
added.
not another. No, not an AA meeting.
I thought that was
AA
supposed to
didn't
be
work for
anonymous.
me. Made me want to go get drunk.
I was going to say,
Well,
I'm not going to
Yeah,
meet
I
you
haven't.
there.
I haven't got bad enough. I need AA. I've got pretty bad, but not enough. I need AA.
You might need
so.
Ananon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Ken, are you going down to that?
Azanon.
I have ABS, abusive wife syndrome.
Shannon,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I have. Abusive
I'll
wife.
put it in the
syndrome.
chat, Ken.
All right, Ken. Tell them. Everybody, shut the heck up and let Ken talk. Go ahead, Ken. How you doing?
I'm Ken Moon from Moonpie Creations. You can find me on YouTube, Moonpie Creations, or MPC, Facebook, and other places too, but not too active on other places besides Instagram.
I have noticed big time. How many subscribers do you have right now?
70,000 subscribers. Just hit it.
Wow.
I feel blessed that people would want to watch me do anything, let alone turn a bowl. So,
well, first off,
fire, buddy.
I understand what you're saying, but second off, you've hit your niche. I mean, you do some crazy way out stuff with resin and wood and stuff and turning and everything. So you found that, I mean, you're a great guy, don't get me wrong, and I love watching your videos. That has enough. I mean, all of that plays in it, but you've hit your niche along with that. The niche is you do some crazy, wild, crappy, or not crappy, I want to say
crappy. Some people say crappy. I get those comments.
But, stuff with your resin turning, and then along with your personality and everything, it all comes together, and that's the reason you have 70,000 subscribers. I can tell you that right off the bat.
Well, I appreciate each and every person who watches my videos. 85% of my views are from non-subscribed people, and that blows me away. For one, you know that anybody would watch that, but my subscribers are the best because those quick views you get when you first release a video, those are the people that stick with you and watch and watch your videos. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, like I said, you have a good personality. You're real good on camera, and then with your crazy turnings, I don't surprise me. Well, but out of how many when you make your turnings and you do a lot with resin, then you just try whatever comes along or whatever. You have a pretty good success rate though with some of the crazy stuff. I would say you have at least 80 to 90%. See, you don't have that many failures. How many failures do you think?
If you ever watch my videos, I have this thing called the shelf of shame. Right in back of me on my channel. But it's not what people think. It's not a failure shelf. It's oh my God, I don't know what to do to fix this piece of crap. I need to do something, but I don't know what to do right now. So I put it up on the shelf. Now, I fail a lot. I've got a hard drive sitting right here, an 8 gigabyte hard drive, and I've got like 100 videos on there that are half done. I don't post them because I don't like not finishing something. You'll see me every now and then where I'll post a fail video, and that is because it is a fail. If I post something that says it's a fail, it's a fail. But 9 out of 10 times I'm going to put it on the shelf of shame and I'm going to come back to it. So I do have a high rate of failure, if you ask me, but they're not failures. They're wait and see what happens.
Well, I've seen a few of your things that you do that you have a problem, then you go back and put resin back in it, and then you are able to return it, and so that's not actually a failure.
No, it's not. But and the reason that you guys don't see a big failure rate is because some of these videos are 2-3 years in the making. you'll see some of my videos. Like I just did one. It was a pine. It was pine, and I found it was just degraded, and I called it the poison apple. But I posted a video a long time ago where I tried to cast this thing, and it did not work out. So a while back, months ago, I decided to grab that piece, and I brought it in, and I started working on it, and I started casting it. By the time I was done, I think it was 99% resin, and maybe a percent was wood. But I did that over like a 6-month window. So,
right. And refresh everybody. When you say you use resin, I know you use one resin and one resin over, and that's your sponsor also. So tell everybody who that is.
Yeah, I am sponsored by Total Boat Resin. And believe it, and you know, and I know what you like that. Total Boat.
Give them full screen.
I've actually used a lot of resins, and I'm not just saying this because they're my sponsors. They're fantastic people, by the way. I don't know if anyone's ever dealt with the people from Total Boat, but you know, when me and Leanne got married, they contacted me and said, you guys got married, you didn't tell us, blah blah blah, and they sent Leanne and I a resin pump. I mean, that's amazing. I didn't ask them for that. They just sent it to me, you know, and Leanne. But I've used a lot of different resins, and you know, I've got buddies that use Alumilite, and they love it. And I'm not saying that it's not a good resin. I didn't have success with it. It cracked like crazy. It probably operated error, but I just found that Total Boat is a lot more forgiving with moisture, and it works for me.
Well, you know, that's what you have to go with. And you're right. Some people can use this resin and some people can use this resin with great success. And it might have to do with the climate you're in. Like in Florida, we have a lot of humidity. Maybe one of those resins wouldn't work good for me. But if you have success with the resin, that's the resin you have to go with. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. I got a buddy that uses that knockoff Chinese stuff off of Amazon and eBay, and he loves it. He swears by it. I actually used some of that once, and it was not a pretty thing.
Uh-oh.
Right. No, I totally understand. And I do notice you're wearing a Star Bond t-shirt.
Yeah, I got a Star Bond t-shirt. That's my other sponsor for my.
Tell us a little about Star Bond, because I have used Star Bond, and you go ahead and tell about what you want to say about it.
So Star Bond makes CA glues and accelerators, and they have been sponsoring my channel for I think about almost as long as Total Boat has been. Probably about 3.5, 4 years they've been sponsoring me. And by sponsoring me, all they do is they give me some CA glue. If I believe in a company, I'm going to push that product. And they make some really good products. They make black CA glue, which I love to use on oak bowls. They make thin, medium, thick. It's a really good product, I think. One other,
I've used it. I have used it, and I will say that it is a good product. Yes, go ahead. But
yeah, one other product that I use, and you see it in most of my videos, and it's Axe wood paste. And people ask, they don't sponsor my channel, believe it or not. Everyone thinks they do, but they don't sponsor my channel. Axe wood paste is a small U.S. company that does a wood paste. It's for helping to smooth out your finishes and stuff like that. And it's a really good company too. I know that I've been testing out some fine stuff. They don't sell it right now, but they have this fine stuff that after you use the paste, you can use this fine. I don't know how to compare it to anything because I've used Yorkshire grit before, and it was pretty good too. But I've never used the sheen. I guess it is. Is that what it's called? Anyone else use that stuff?
No,
I do, Ken. I do. It's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, well, I asked them about some kind of a fine grit because I would get lines in some of my resin. So they sent me some test stuff that's this fine stuff, and it works pretty good. But it's a small U.S. company, and I like to support, U.S. companies. So
before we go any further, I just want to say a shout out to some of the people that are watching us tonight. Aussie Man, who is 99.9% of the time here. I mean, I couldn't say better. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Bill. Chris Nealon is out there. Brooks Martin is out there running down through the chat real quick. And if I miss you, I'm sorry. I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm just scanning through the chat to see who all we have out there. Chris Nealon, I've already said. Rick St. Louis is out there. Lynn's handcrafted wood shop. I'll get it right in a second. Which is Leonard is out there going through. Dan Inge from Dan Inge Woodworking. Thank you very much. Dances with Artvax. Aardvox, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, you know how I destroy names, but anyway, he's out there. He says howdy. James Parker, thank you, James Parker, and thank you for the book. By the way, I mentioned this a couple of times, but thank you for the book, James. I appreciate that very much.
What if I could? John's out there.
Yep.
Robin from Robin Buys and DIYs is out there. Russ Meadows is out there too.
Moonpie Creations is out there checking on her man.
Okay, so yeah.
Hello and welcome everyone.
Carl Gentry.
Hi, Carl.
Yep. Thank y'all for and we try to go back and see who all's in here and bring out your name, and we may miss you, and I'm sorry if we do. I don't intentionally do that. None of us do here. But I just wanted to say a shout out to all. James Parker asked, Ken, I saw you were in trouble with your name from with Moonpie thing, and he didn't. You don't want to bring that up just to be, but he didn't know if he had that straightened out.
Well, actually, you can bring it up, Russ. You actually have a show on that, if you remember.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. But go ahead and explain what happened, and go ahead and explain to James that you got that resolved. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually ended up putting
But you got to make it in 5 seconds. It's got to be in 5 seconds.
I ended up putting this out.
3, 2,
but
1.
I had a company called Chattanooga Bakeries contact me, and they were upset that I was using the name Moonpie Creations, and they said my logo was exactly like theirs. So they hit me with a copyright infringement, and so I replied to them and got everything straightened out after I replied to them. But I talk about it on one of Russ's shows. So if
yes, we did.
Link, we can put it in there.
We can put the link in there. But yes, we went over there. He was able to tell them and prove to them, in other words, that it's not a copyright infringement. There's nowhere close to whatever's going on, and they ended up succeeding in saying, it didn't have to hire lawyers. It didn't have to be any litigation. It was resolved, and it's over and done with.
Now, I did have to make some concessions. I'm not allowed to put like Moonpie Creations on tags and stuff, but I never did. On like product tags. I use MPC. So and I had to put a little say a note on my social media saying that I'm not affiliated with Chattanooga Bakeries, the maker of the delicious Moonpie treat. So
are you allowed to eat moon pies on your show?
I will never put one of those on my show. Now, I did offer to do a collaboration with them, and they kind of just brushed me off. I told them
you're gonna put one in resin and turn it.
Actually, I did have some ideas. I wanted to make a bowl that looked like a moon pie, but like I said, they turned me down and didn't want anything to do with me for collaboration.
Can you eat chocolate on your videos, or how strict is this?
How sexy would that be, though? If I'm eating chocolate, I'd be like, like that. Just
all right,
we're getting all over my face.
We're getting way off base here. Anyway, a lot of people are out there. Thank you. Robbins, buys, and DUIs are out there. What if I could? All right. So, Total Boat, you do a lot of crazy stuff. You had a little problem the other day that I do want to bring up in your workshop. And I watched when you first put it out. I was like, I scan through stuff and I see some of your stuff and I try to watch some of your stuff. But when I saw this one, it caught my eye, and then I watched the whole thing and I'm like, holy crap, this could have been a total disaster. So let's go through and tell everybody what happened. And it's on, he has it on video. And if you want to, I'll even, after this is over with, I might even, or after you talk, I might even bring it up and play it. But go ahead, tell.
All right. So I guess it was a little over a week ago. I was in my shop, and I've got a lot of orders. So I don't video everything in my shop that I'm doing. So I had a lot of orders. So I was making something, and then, got a flashback. The night before, I was working on something else, and I got resin on the floor. And then when I'm done working on something and I'm doing a video, I put it on the turntable on my lathe, and my light is hooked up to the lights for my shop. So I have to plug it into the wall so they don't turn off. And I turn off all the lights, and I get the light shining, and it makes it look really nice. So went to bed, came back the next day, and I'm working on something else. And I put my tool down on top of two other tools on top of my lathe bed. And the tool falls off of the lathe bed and hits that wire for my light perfectly. Well, it's covered over with resin, and it ignites the resin. And I kind of start walking over to put the tool back up, and I heard this big pop when it happened. And you'll notice me in the video turning around and seeing the fire start. And you can see it in the video.
Let me tell you about the fire that just happened.
Oh, Russ has it up.
Yeah.
So I go around my lathe, and I'm going to go stomp it out. And I go to start doing what I'm doing to get it out. And the resins are very flammable. A lot of people don't understand that. And I know how flammable they are because I've put them into a fire on accident before. And I grabbed the cord, trying to get the cord out of it. And at that point, the whole front of my lathe starts going up. So I take about 5 steps and grab my fire extinguisher, and I turn around and put the fire out. And that's the story there. So.
And I pulled it up. So, and with your permission, I have
go ahead.
Because YouTube is always on this thing. Do you have permission to watch this? I have your permission to show this, right?
Go ahead. That's fine.
All right.
Is there sound to this?
I don't think there's a lot of sound, but if I'll try.
Said,
all
just
you hear is the pop
time
and
and
then
turn
the fire.
around and look
Well,
down.
no, he don't say "oh crap" or any of those other words or anything. So
nothing like that. No.
No, I don't cuss at all. I just put it out.
no, yeah. So share screen. I want to share it with.
Hey, Donna's
Yes.
wooden arts out there.
You need help sharing the screen?
Paul?
Huh?
You did it?
You're the world's worst person to tell me that I need help sharing the screen.
You did it.
So it should click over any second over to. Yep, there we are. All right, so this is the video, and I fast forwarded it.
Episode.
Yeah, this is the video, and I fast forwarded it to whenever it was going. So, all right, I'm gonna hit play, Now, I
you
do
make the
want to
video full
point
screen,
out,
Russ?
so you'll notice this. His tool is laying up. Can you see my? Does
Yes.
I don't think my mouse pointer doesn't even point.
Yeah,
does
we
it?
can see it.
Yes,
Can
we
you
see
make your
it.
video full screen?
No, it will not do that on screen share.
Oh wow, you can't. Okay.
No, because I can't even get back there. Oh, let me see if I can.
Gotcha.
Let me
Try
see.
Alt
Ask
Tab.
Al.
Try
See, when I
Alt
go
Tab.
back, it does that. So I
Yeah,
can't do
Try
that.
Alt Tab. Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
So I have to go. We have to have this part right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when I go back to try to go full screen, it does that. So I have to go to this part.
Gotcha.
Anyway, his tool is on his lathe. He's there standing, and just pay really close attention between his tool on his lathe and down on the ground. You'll pretty well see it, and I can rewind it and do it again.
As I move the banjo, I hit the tools.
Bang.
Dang,
Oh,
that
I see
started
the fire.
quick.
I see the fire.
Yeah, just by the ladder.
Fire.
He's so quick.
Even in slow motion.
Now look at this. Yeah, I mean, when he pulled the cord, it even got worse. So.
Yeah.
It spread it and pulled that
Run,
cord.
Forrest, run.
Yes. All right, I'm just gonna let it go. Or is he's doing it now in real time? Yes.
Here I am to save the day.
Yeah, he's like, oh crap.
It's Fire Marshal Bill.
Honey,
Yeah.
I almost burnt the house now. My God. Oh my God. That's amazing.
Now, what I did not show on that video is I stood there for a minute and I was kind of stunned. I didn't know what to do after I put it out. And as you see in the rest of the video, which I did not show, is all the smoke starting to come up off of there that was from the resin. So I went outside, and then I realized I never unplugged that plug. I was afraid it was going to arc again. So I walked back in, and those fumes hit me. As I grabbed the plug and put it out, I'm trying to hold my breath, and I can't. And I'm like hacking and coughing, trying to get back out. Resin smoke is extremely toxic, so you don't want to breathe that in. So after I got it unplugged, I just opened my door and then went and opened the garage door for my shop and let it air out for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then I took a picture of it and I let Leanne know, and she freaked out. So
yeah, Aussie man just saying the workshop confession first in the show instead of last. This is the first show where the workshop confession has been the show.
Yes. And I agree, but I mean, when you say that, but and I want to. I do enjoy watching Ken turn. I want to talk about his turnings, and we have talked about his turnings. But we also need to talk about sometimes we need to bring up about
Fire
shop
safety?
safety. Yeah, well, shop safety, just whatever. I mean, you don't know when something's going to happen in your shop. And I'll give you another example that I watched a video of watching where a guy was doing, and this is going to be kind of gross, but anyway, they were doing a lot of milling and everything, and he turned his hand. He forgot to turn off the joiner, and when he reached back to pick up the wood off the joiner, his hand went into the joiner, and it cost all 4 of his fingers. Mm-hmm. Because he forgot, because he was wearing hearing and couldn't even hear if the machine was running or not. Wow. So Ken's experience was minute compared to that, but in the same aspect, I've seen shops with less fire starting burn the whole shop down.
Yeah.
So it was great that he had knowledge enough to run over there and just, hey, whoa, screw this. I got to go and get a fire extinguisher. What would have happened, Ken, if you not had a fire extinguisher there? What would you have done?
My shop would have been gone. I'm sure that, you know, and a lot of people ask me, why did you put this out? You know, you're opening yourself up to criticism and all that.
I don't see criticism. No, I don't see criticism.
The issue wasn't, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, I put all my tools on the lathe. That was a no-no, and I know better than that. But
bull crap. There wasn't nothing done that anybody else hadn't done 1,000,000 times or 1,000 times before.
Oh, yeah.
But
at the same time, we all know that's not the right thing to do. So
yeah. But the thing I did want to get out there is that I know guys that don't have fire extinguishers in their shop. I've got 3 in my shop now. I had 2. I've got 3 now. All of them within a couple of feet reach.
Ken, tell us how much that fire extinguisher went down in just that little bit that you pushed out.
Yeah, when I hit that fire extinguisher, you saw how quick a burst it was. It went down over half, so it's no good anymore. But I've told people that if it was a bigger fire, I probably wouldn't have gotten it out. I would have had to run across the shop to get another one.
Right.
But yeah, it's important to have fire equipment in your shop. We're working with dust particles, resin shavings, wood shavings, and I think Monday I released a video showing you how quickly resin goes up versus wood shavings. And it's like 3 or 4 times faster.
Right.
A fire extinguisher to stop the fire and a first aid kit to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to point this out to people because I was a firefighter for 30 years, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Ken had a dry chemical, which was great, and they're cheap, one of the most cheap and ones that you can get, and they work great on the type of fires, even for what he wanted to. And so, yes, I would it's called an ABC dry powder. So yes, you can use it on all 3 ABC, which is like electrical, wood, and
liquids.
Liquids like gasoline and stuff. So it covers all 3 of those. Those are the great ones to have in there. There's another great one that people forget about that I just want to point out, and they're not so much as a.
See you, Brenda.
Good night, guys.
Hope you feel
better.
guys.
Thank you.
Good night, Brenda. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for showing up. We love you, Brenda.
Love you guys too.
Love.
We love you long time, Joe.
Hugs and kisses.
Live long
I've
and
heard that
prosper.
before.
There's another one that I would really like to point out, and that is CO2. Okay.
Because it smothers it.
Well,
right?
CO2, it doesn't. It smothers it in a way that it takes away the oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
It's carbon dioxide, which inundates the area where the fire is at, which dissipates the oxygen, so the fire can't breathe, just like we can't breathe, and it takes the fire out. So the reason I promote CO2 in your shop also, and that's one of the things I discussed with Ken before the show, which he had ABC, which is great. I'm not complaining. I'm not telling you anything not to use it. It's just that I would also have a CO2 in my shop also. It creates. Let me finish what I'm saying first.
Okay.
It creates a less mess.
Yes.
First off, you don't have the dry powder running all over the shop and everything. And I will give you for instance. If I had a kitchen fire and I had a grease pan fire and I pulled out a dry chemical and I sprayed it, you're going to be cleaning dry chemical powder all over your house in 2 increment points of your bedrooms and bathrooms that you never, ever have figured in a million years that this powder, because this is a minute powder that when it goes out, it does its job, don't get me wrong, but it covers everything. It will go in your you'll open the drawer where your toothbrush was, and you'll find dry powder in there.
Hey, Russ.
Okay, it goes throughout the whole house. So a CO2, for instance, if I had that grease fire, I could take the CO2 out if I had it in my kitchen. I could douse the grease fire out, and I could actually go back to cooking again. Because CO2 is an inert gas that takes away the oxygen. Now, if you had a grease fire, you have to remember one or two things. If you had the grease fire, first off, the grease got too hot in order for it to be able to catch on fire. You did something wrong to be able to catch on fire. So you need to remove it from the fire or pull it back away from the fire or anything. But the CO2 could actually be used and create no mess. You could continue to use your French fries. You could continue on without any problem. So I would just highly recommend that you have a CO2 also in your shop as a backup, especially if it's electronics. For instance, I have a laser. If my laser was to catch on fire and I used a dry chemical, it might destroy the components inside my laser. All the components would be subjected to that, and it can actually really, really mess them up. A CO2, if I used it inside my laser, wouldn't mess with anything. I could probably reset my project and go back to working. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, like I said, Ken has ABC. That is what's recommended for his shop. I don't disagree with that, and I would highly recommend them. Those, I just wanted to make a subjectional thing about the difference between CO2 and ABC and what they can do for you and how you need to use them. If I owned a shop, and I do have those in my shop, I have both of them in my shop. So that I can rely on which one is going in which direction. And Ken, did you want to say something? I thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually had a lot of people suggest the CO2 extinguisher after they watched that video. So I think you're absolutely right. I'm actually looking for one right now.
Yeah,
I got the other ones at Costco. So, you know, they were on sale.
But Ken, watching that video, I don't know if a CO2 would have done a better job.
Well, the whole thing is it didn't matter in my shop because it's covered with fine resin dust anyway, so I couldn't tell.
Right. Well, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know that a CO2 would have helped you out in any way, shape, or form at that point.
Well, I do have a laser, a 3D printer, and my
that's when the CO2 might have done a better job to protect your electronics on it, and that's what you need to have in your kitchen. You know, if you have a grease fire. You don't want to fire off one of those ABCs because all that dust. All right, you've ruined your fried fish. That trout that you fished for 3 weeks to get in the lake stream of Alaska is gone. Everything, the French fries that you were going to coleslaw, everything in the kitchen is now covered with ABC dry chemical powder. If you'd walked up and boop with CO2, you could have kept on cooking your fish, and the coleslaw could have been eaten, and the French fries could have been eaten. CO2 is an inert gas that dissipates the oxygen from the fire, and it is also cold. So therefore, it reduces the temperature of what you spray it on to take it below the flash point temperature. So it does two reactions. It's not good for every fire. It's not good for wood fire. If you took it out to a wood fire, it wouldn't work as good as an ABC. So they all have their places, and they all can be used where you want to use them, but as their conditions appropriate for the fire extinguisher.
Well, hey, thing I want to bring up about using the ABC dry chemical on outside from personal experience, before you hit that trigger, check the wind direction. Ain't nothing like that stuff flying back in your face.
Hey Russ, Jerry from Polly Wants a Crafter brought up a good point. A lot of us do a lot of woodworking. We have our own little sheds, our own little garages or whatnot. But we don't cover them in our insurance, and that's a good point. My shop is covered for about $60,000 to $100,000 is how much my shop is covered for.
Right.
In my insurance.
So is mine.
Yeah, it's not going to bring it up too much, so it covers you in case you have a fire.
Somebody said, Brooks Martin, Russ, that's entering. Where do you find CO2 fire extinguishers? Are very readable just as much as ABC. You just have to look on the internet. But I will tell you this much. They're almost twice the cost of an ABC.
Amazon has them if you just search for CO2 fire extinguishers.
Yeah, just they are ready. You can buy them. Yes, you can get them online. You can just type in CO2 fire. But like if I could buy a small, like let's say 2.5 or 5-pound ABC for like $25 or $30. If I wanted a 5-pound CO2, it'd probably be like $50, maybe $60.
Now, a dry powder ABC is good for 10 years before they say you ought to pitch it.
Yes.
Is the CO2 the same way after 10 years?
Yes, it has a gauge on it, and what you need to do is just respond to the gauge.
Well, I've got one that's over 10 years old, and the gauge still shows it's good. But everything I read said after 10 years, you ought to pitch them anyway.
Well, you should either chunk it or have it refilled after 10 years.
And you should tip it over once a year too.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, a CO2 should be one of those kitchen fire extinguishers, like I said, so that you could put out a grease fire and keep right on cooking. I mean, the ABC is the all-around best. If you need a fire extinguisher, that's the one to go for. All right.
I had a garden tractor catch on fire one time, and I hit it with an ABC. And after the mess it made, I think I should have just let it burn.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to say but it does make a mess. So if I have a 2 CO2s in my kitchen, I don't even have an ABC. I have a 2 CO2s in my kitchen because I don't want an ABC in my kitchen. I'm sorry. I can put everything out I want in my kitchen with a CO2. Now in my shop, yes, I have ABCs.
Hey, Aussie Man says he uses them to catch snakes. Uses the fire extinguishers. He puts them into hibernate, and it calms
CO2 was so cold. That's when I said it has a double whammy with a CO2. It is an inert gas, so it displaces the oxygen, but is also, as it comes out, it's cold. So whatever surface it touches, it's going to take it down below its ignition temperature. And that's another thing that you would have to study in fire is everything has an ignition temperature. If you drop it, like let's say wood, and I'm just putting this out there, don't go and criticize me for the number.
It's 451.
Fahrenheit 451. Great move.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you take it below that temperature, it can't burn because it's too cold. So, and that's what I'm saying. So if it's 100 degrees at anything 100 or above, it'll burn. Anything 100 or below, it won't burn. So when you spray it with CO2, you're not only dissipating the oxygen off where it can't burn because you're deleting it because the CO2 takes its place. You're dropping it below its ignition point, which is 100 degrees. So now it can't burn. Either way it goes. So
that's two of the 3 prongs of fire, I think, isn't it? One of them is oxygen. The other
oxygen,
one is
heat. It's oxygen, heat, and then the whatever the burning potential. Whatever.
Yeah. So you're taking 2 of those off that triangle,
right?
That gray triangle. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be oxygen on one side. Then it would be fuel.
Heat. Yeah, fuel. Yes.
Fuel on the other side.
What's the third one?
Heat.
I'm sorry, I just thought of that.
Heat. It's heat.
The company I work for invented proximity.
Yeah, it's
sensors.
oxygen. You look at me like I'm a dumbass because I'm a fireman.
No.
No, it's oxygen oxygen, fuel, and heat. Between those three things, they make up the triangle. Without one or the other, they won't burn. So you take the heat away, even though it has the oxygen and the fuel, it can't burn.
Yeah.
If you take the oxygen away, it can't burn.
Correct.
So
correct.
That's why I said the CO2 is really great, because it takes away not only the oxygen, but it lowers the ignition temperature.
Two of those things, yes. Two.
Yeah. But now we're talking about kitchen fires, grease fires and stuff. We're not talking about shop fires, which Ken had to go through. And so his best choice, which he had in his shop, was an ABC, and he used it and it worked.
Stomping wasn't the good choice, right? Stomping wasn't the alternative there to the fire extinguisher.
It spread them. I guess it was because when I put my big old fat foot down, it pushed that air out and it fanned the flames a little bit.
Stomping isn't any good, especially when you got Crocs on.
Yeah.
Or sandals, like I do.
Hey, what's wrong with Crocs?
Yeah, I would say that, if you don't have at least a couple, like Ken said, he had one at the door and you had one on the other side of the shop, so you had access to two of them. I would say at least two. You might want to do one CO2 and one dry chemical, or both dry chemicals. I would never rely on one. I would always have a backup with two, because you never know. Even though it has went through the statistics, it's went through the inspection, it's still good, and you pull the pin and you push the trigger and it don't work. What are you going to do?
Call Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
so if you have a backup, you run to the other side of the shop and grab the backup. So yeah, you want a minimum of two, one for a backup.
Yeah, you drink. There you go. You drink.
If it doesn't work, you go to this triangle.
Right. There you go.
And just because you put the fire out the first time does not mean it will not reignite. So you may need that.
No, you have to do your homework afterward and get it all cleaned up and make sure it's out and everything.
And not do it again. Because if you do it again.
No, but all right.
Who on this panel would do the same stupid thing twice?
Not I.
I mean, I did want to bring out that very much so in this, and we've done that. We've emphasized this. We've got about 10 more minutes. Ken, I'm going to give you the last 10 minutes to tell us, just tell us where Moonpie Creations is going and what you plan for the future, and what you hope that your success is going to be. Just put it all out there.
Well, YouTube, I've had a lot of trouble with YouTube. And I don't want to bash them on your show, because they'll probably do the same crap to you they're doing to me. But I'm having trouble getting my subscribership up, because YouTube is saying they're deleting spam accounts, but I'm getting people that are on my channel coming back and saying, hey, I was unsubscribed. But I don't know. That aside, I'm still trying to find the right niche to get more.
Lord have mercy.
Look at that guy right there. I'm just saying.
That's why they're killing you right there.
I want a mint moon pie for some reason. Is there such a thing?
Hey, look at that arm candy that Leanne has on her.
Oh, geez.
It looks good. But going back to my channel, where's it going? I changed up my last video. If you watch my last video, I did it a little bit differently than I've been doing. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to change it around a little bit to make it more watchable. I cut out all the high-speed lathe turning that created the high-pitched sounds and stuff like that. And I did not cutscene, but transitions to the turning. So you'll see me turning, the bowl, and then it'll fade into a little bit further down the road, and then fade in, and everything's fading in. And I think I'm going to try that for a little bit and see how it goes. See if I can get those views up, because about 2 years ago, now a year and a half ago, YouTube changed their algorithms, and a lot of the resin channels like Doug Moore's, Kim Tippins, and a couple other people in my channels, all the viewers, the views went from like 50,000 a video down to about 5,000 a video. So we're trying to figure out how to jumpstart those algorithms again. Hopefully they'll mess with them again and get our views back up.
All right. They'll mess with you and quit featuring you in searches and stuff real quick.
Well, when they took my subscribers, they took 183 subscribers from me the other day. So I sent them a nice email, as nicely as I am. And then they called me back, or they emailed me back and told me that it was that's just normal fluctuation. So I wrote them back not such a nice email. And we've been going back and forth. I've had 6 different people email me now, and I've just given up. So, and I'll just move on. Because
I understand what you're saying, Ken, and it is the YouTube
algorithm.
It's a YouTube domination.
Yeah,
it's the YouTube domination. You're right. They can snatch stuff, they can move stuff, they can change stuff on their whim when they want to and how they want to. And to be honest with you, there ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Not a thing, because prior to that 183, they took 254 of my subscribers. So, and every time they do that, my subscribers contact me. I was unsubscribed, and I don't know why, but YouTube says they are. So,
we don't know how that happened. We don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so full of
trying to get a hold of somebody, or know who to email or whatever contacted YouTube is impossible.
Yeah, they're so full of crap. Their eyes are brown.
Now there are other things that I've been trying. Doug's been trying. It's like shorts, putting out shorts, seeing if that jump starts the channels again. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been doing Monday videos too every now and then, where I'm doing cutting boards or something. And I'm just trying to bring in as many people as I can. I'm just out there having fun, and I like when people come in there and have fun with me.
Chris, I think it was Chris Neal. Anyway, I'm trying to back through to see it, but somebody asked, we've talked about electrical fires. Sure. If you're talking about with your equipment in your shop, and if you're having an electrical fire, 2 of the fire extinguishers that I just mentioned would work on it really, really great. It would be CO2 or ABC. The ABC is going to create a mess. A CO2 won't. It's an inert gas. But the problem when you have an electrical fire, I have my laser, and I notice a problem. It's shorting, and all of a sudden I see smoke rising out of it. It's not only grab the CO2 fire extinguisher and run over, it shut the damn electricity off to it, because I can pound that thing with a CO2. I can pound that thing with an ABC, and if it's being fed by the breaker, I'm not doing a damn bit of good. So electrical fires are caused by the electricity. Something's got overheated in the switch. There's a connection that's bad, etc., etc. It started the fire. There's overheating. A bad connection in electricity, and Al can back me up. If you have 2 things that are connected and it's a loose connection, that causes friction. Friction causes heat. Heat causes the electrodes start to get melted. Melted means they're getting hotter. Hotter means they're going to, sooner or later, something's going to give. Now you have an arc. Now you have a problem. Is that not right, Al?
Yep. Them electrons, they just.
Yep. And so therefore the point is you spray a CO2 fire extinguisher on that connection and the electricity is still energized. It's going to look at you and laugh. It's still going to continue to spark. And you shoot it again with a CO2. Yeah, it's going to sit there and laugh and continue to spark.
It kills the fire, but the sparks continue.
Yeah, so you have to shut down and de-energize the circuit.
Sounds like again. Can we get him to
do what now?
What the electrical stuff sounds like again?
No. Yeah. So yeah, you have to de-energize the electrical circuit first. I mean, you can shoot it with a fire extinguisher. You can shoot it with CO2 because you have a flame there. All right.
See you later.
Good night.
Have a good one. And that means more than just cutting off the power to the machine.
Yeah, you can shoot it with a fire extinguisher and it puts out the fire that's there, but you realize that, hey, it's coming back. You need to go to the breaker and turn it off so that it can no longer get any energy and continue that problem. Because if you don't flip the breaker, it's coming back. If it's coming back, every time you shoot it, it'll just rehappen. Every time you shoot it, it'll just rehappen. You have to de-energize the electrical circuit. You have to turn the breaker off. Actually, most of the time when you see that problem, if you'll throw the breaker right off the bat, there won't be any problem.
Right.
There won't be any of this.
Yep, it won't give.
That's why all my cords and plugs are in quick reach.
Smoke and shut the power.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you can't figure out which breaker it is in your shop, shut the damn main off.
Shut the main off.
Yep.
Pull the main. There's a breaker at the top in your electrical panel that should be in your shop, and it says MAIN, and you just pull it down and everything in your shop will be off. Don't worry about going through flipping 25 or 30 breakers. Just pull that one main breaker and everything will be off. And most of the time, that will resolve the electrical problem. If it don't, that's when you go over there with the CO2 and give it a squirt.
That's
my old shop was very
know where your breakers are. Mine in my shop are actually in the house with the rest of them.
My old shop was very easy.
In your shop.
If I fire up the table saw and the router at the same time, shuts the power off. No problem.
Yeah.
yeah. In Chris's case, he goes over and turns the other fire.
I mean, electrical fires are kind of concerning to people because they don't understand them. But when the electricity is off, it's no longer an electrical fire. It's either the plastic on the insulation, or it set fire to the wood next to it, or set fire to something else next to it. So, disarm the electric first. That's your first.
During an electrical fire, first. Do not grab the cord.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, but it's usually go to the electrical panel, and like I said, you don't have to sit there and flip every breaker. Just pull the damn main, and it's over and done with. And most of the time, then at that point, it'll either go out or you can just something, and it'll put it out. And
it's probably amazing.
It's not rocket. It's not rocket science at this point. It's like
It's probably amazing how many people on this panel have actually tased themselves.
I mean, being a fireman, it's like I'm amazed by some of the things that I've seen over the years that people will do. It's like, but I'm not going to get into that because we're at the end of the show. But yeah, if it's electrical, shut the power off to the whole shop immediately. Walk over to the panel, pull the panel breaker, shut the whole panel off.
Panel is right here above my head right now.
Yeah, and 99.9% of the time that'll correct everything. Ken didn't have time to do that because the stuff was flaring up at that point. And even at that point, I will tell you this much: At that point in Ken's shop, had he shut the electrical breaker off, it was too late. It was already in the plastic and it was going. He had to use a dry chemical. There was no other way to go for that.
That fire started within a split second of that knife hitting the floor.
So it wouldn't have mattered. He could have clicked the breaker off, like I just said. He could have walked over, shut the main off, turned around, and it was still been going.
I'll tell you what, that pop I heard, I almost ignored it and went back to go looking at it to get a different tool. If I would have waited another 5 seconds, I would have had to run out of the shop. I'm really pretty sure. So
yeah. There was no. You did the correct thing. You did the correct thing, and by two things, you just saw that what you needed to do, you did it. So.
And then you went inside and watched
military fire extinguisher training that my boss made me do every single year. That I complained about every year too, but
Yep.
Well, they said Wood Shop Confessions is already done. So
it is.
Yeah, it's already done. So anyway, so
Leanne just told me she was thinking I was about to say how I needed to thank her because I put it out. So
okay, Leanne probably is the one that told you to put the 2 extinguishers in there.
She actually did. She's the one that had
Hey, Leanne, for the win.
Well, we know who the brains of the operation
for the win. She told you to put.
Wait a minute. Did we question who the brains of the operation was?
Yeah, there we go. See?
Never.
Now, in my old shop, I had the worst fire extinguisher. I had one of those old water ones, the liquid one.
Oh, that's a piece of crap.
The Indian pump.
But it was what I had. Somebody gave it to me, and I had it in my old
Sodium
shop.
bicarbonate.
Where I had the little building.
Sodium bicarbonate. That stuff also cleans your refrigerator.
I'll give you just a real quick thing, real quick. So I bought my boat, right? And it had 1 fire extinguisher in there. I bought 2 more. I had 1 in the front, 1 in the back, and 1 in the middle. So the Coast Guard pulled us over for a safety inspection for everything. And the Coast Guard said, "Do you have this? You have," and when he comes to the fire extinguisher, "Do you have a fire extinguisher?" I said, "Yes, 1 right here." And I said, "But yes, I have 1 in the front, 1 in the back." And he said, "You have 3 fire extinguishers on a 21-foot boat?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I got 1 in the back, 1 in the front, 1 in the middle. That way, if the fire's in the back, I can get the middle of the front, or if the fire's in the front, I can get the middle of the back." And he goes, "Damn, you must be a fireman." I said, "Yeah, I am." So yeah, my kids were with me. They were laughing because they were like, I had 3 fire extinguishers on a 21-foot boat. He goes, "We have 50-foot boats, only have 3 fire extinguishers on them." So yeah. Anyway, nobody laughed at that, so I thought it was funny. Anyway.
Oh, sorry. Too late.
But anyway,
I thought he was trying to mooch a fire extinguisher off.
We were laughing. She was just muted. So
yeah.
Well,
anyway, so thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken, and I'm so glad that everything worked out and the fire wasn't worse and everything. I want to have you back on again though and talk more about the total boat and some turning here in the next. This is May, maybe in late June or July. I mean, upon your schedule. So let me know.
Let me know so I can schedule it because Leanne likes to go party every Saturday.
Oh, I know. I love. Hey, she has to be the responsible for y'all's costumes on that picture I showed.
There's the boss lady in the background.
No.
Huh?
Boss lady.
There's the boss lady in the background.
Boss lady.
Yeah,
I know. But Leanne, did you make his suit? Who made his suit?
No, I ordered them. We went to the Carolina Cup in Camden, South Carolina. But then last weekend, let me tell you this. Last weekend, we had a derby party at a tap room downtown. So we were there for that, another opportunity to wear our costumes, and we won the costume contest. But I picked the dabbling winner. I picked Strike Rich. And I didn't bet anything.
She didn't bet it. So it was an 80-1 win. She didn't bet.
81.
I mean, $100.
Yeah, but you didn't make those costumes. You actually were able to order them on the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, now we got a 1920s event coming up that we're going to get our outfits, 1920s suit and then 1920s dress and stuff.
Gangster and flapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to see that.
I need a minigun.
Bonnie and Clyde.
And then we've got
I think Leanne has to have more cleavage showing on her dresses.
I agree. I got to agree with you. She did.
Which picture did you show?
The one from the Derby. But at the Derby thing, she had a shirt on. When we went to the Carolina Cup, she didn't. And it showed down. I liked it. I'm just saying.
All right, great guys. Listen, we've had a great time tonight. Thank you, Ken, so much, and Leanne, thank you for stepping in and being here tonight. And those costumes that I
commenting, so Jim and I've carried on a little bit of conversation.
The costumes that I showed were fantastic. I mean, they were all. As soon as I seen them, I showed them to my wife, and I said, "Look at this! Well, look what my friend is wearing." And she went like, "Oh my God, those are so cool!" And that was fantastic. So the costumes were great. Ken, you were always great. Thank you, Luann. Thank you to Dixon, Chris, Donald, and Al, and to Jim, and also to Brenda, who was here, and to Paul at Paul's Messy Workshop. Listen, if you're too darn busy to get out in your shop and make some sawdust, you're just too darn busy. Get off your ass, get in the shop, and make some sawdust. Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Hi, boys and girls.
And God bless.
Long and prosper.
And remember, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
What he said.